Mhm. Hi, Ebony. Hi, Carada.
Hey, how everybody doing tonight? I think I'm good. All right, okay. I
Hey,
know it.
Carada.
I'm trying to make sure everybody's here. Give everybody a little time to get on. How you guys doing tonight? Where y'all tuning in from?
Ebony and Caradad's on my team. I'm not sure who Zoom user is.
All right, guys, we're gonna start in just a few more moments, kind of trying to get everybody in here.
We can't hear anything.
Brother was ready to hold food.
I wear your best. I wear it.
Yeah, you can wear it.
Morning, 6 in the morning. Hey, I go back to bed. Why? Because y'all just getting up. You have to play to win. You have to be competitive. Wherever you are, whatever your space is, this is my space right here. You have to be competitive, whether you like it or not, whether you feel comfortable or not. And you have to get into a space where you got that dog. And I realize that most of you in the room, the reason why you're not going to get to where you're supposed to get to is because you don't know how to get there. Discipline is you do it so long, so hard, and you're so passionate about it that even when you don't feel like it, you still operate at the highest level.
Monday.com, the opposite of any work platform we tried in the past. Tried other work management platforms, not naming names. They all suck. Monday, total up.
Get up at 3 because it's silent. It's easier to be focused when the environment is focused. Most of you wake up and you try to make money. Listen to me. If you would make you, money would come to you. If you would make you a better person, you'd make more money. The way people spend their money or treat their money is how I treat my time. How many of you, honestly, you are knocking on doors and grinding and making moves, but you don't necessarily have every single step written down for every single day? I'm telling you, the one thing you cannot get back is time. It is your greatest asset.
All right, guys. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Can everyone see me? Can everyone hear me well? I want to make sure you guys are able to see me and hear me well. I know, guys, we got started a little late today. Running a little behind, having a couple technical difficulties, but we locked in. We still showing up. So I'm gonna ask you guys some things, right? Hold on. So much stuff on the stream. Okay. So let me ask you guys. I know we got a lot of people from a lot of different places, and I haven't really quite had the opportunity to ask people like where y'all from? Where y'all joining in live from tonight? Like drop it in the comments. Let me see where some of you guys are from. Okay, we got Mesquite. Okay. Mesquite and where else? Oh, okay. There we go. Houston, San Diego, Euless. Okay. Kansas City, Boston, Grand Prairie. Okay, Lakeisha, DFW, Tampa. Shout out to Tampa, Seagoville. Okay, okay. Well, it seems like we got everybody a little bit of everywhere tonight, and that's amazing. That's amazing. So, that being said, Beaumont, Orlando. I love it, guys. I love it. I love it. So that being said, tonight you guys know that we kind of started off with an introductory call, right? Last week we discussed due diligence. So guys, the reason why we discussed due diligence, and I know a lot of you guys probably was like, what is this? Why are we learning this? Because ultimately, guys, you guys are accountable. And you guys are the last line of defense in between the taxpayers and the IRS, right? So the IRS is depending on you to make sure that everything is indeed true and accurate when completing a return. As for the taxpayers, they're entrusting you to make sure that you can help them out as much as you can, right? Find credits and deductions that they may qualify for. So tonight, guys, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing, we're going to get real deep, but it's going to happen so fast to where y'all ain't gonna even realize how deep we done got because I'm gonna break it down to y'all. So I got a question. I gave everybody I remember I dropped it in the chat. I gave everybody a tax terminology. Who studied their tax terms? Who had a chance to look over that sheet and study their tax terms? It's finna show if you did or did not. But it's okay, because guess what? I got you, right? So first thing first, I'm gonna go ahead on and I'm pulling it up right now. So I want you guys to understand some things. All right. So are you guys able to see my screen? All right. So let's talk about some of the common terms that you will hear and see being a tax professional and knowing exactly what those terms mean and what those things are, right? Because it's important. Just like in school, you don't know a word, you got to go to the dictionary and look it up, right? So this is literally tax prepared jargon and abbreviation list. All right, this is an actual list. You guys should have a copy of this list. If you don't have a copy of this list, I'll be sure to just make sure you mention it to your mentor. I'll be sure to make sure you guys do get a copy of this list. But everyone should have a copy of this list. All right. So let's talk about it. A 1040. A 1040 is literally a U.S. individual income tax return. That's exactly what it is. It's just the entire income tax return. All right. A 1040 SR is going to be the 1040 that's for seniors. Okay. A 1040X is going to be amended tax return. All right. Make sure you guys are screenshotting this page too as well. Like y'all screenshot it as well. Okay. Next is going to be a W-2. A W-2 is a wage and tax statement. That's something that's issued by employers to employees to report the amount of taxes and wages paid. All right. The W-4 is the employee's withholding certificate, meaning that's how much tax that employee had withheld from their compensation, right? From their job or wherever it is that they're working. All right. Uh, let's see. The next one is going to be 1099 NEC. A 1099 NEC is literally a non-employee compensation form. Okay, it's literally a standard 1099. So the way the IRS breaks down income forms most of the time are going to be either be a W-2, a certain type of schedule, or either a 1099. A 1099 is dedicated to different forms of work for compensation, okay? Based on or different forms of earned income rather, right? So with that being said, 1099 NEC, the three letters that you see usually after the 1099 is going to tell you what kind of 1099 it is, right? So for this one, it's a non-employee compensation, right? 1099 MISC is 1099 miscellaneous income. Guys, they stopped doing the 1099 MISC about 2019, but you still have people that file uh past year, prior year returns and things of that nature. So that's just so you guys will know exactly what that is. So when they went away with the 1099 MISC, it was actually replaced with the 1099 NEC. Okay, so just want to make sure that everybody know that. All right. Um, Next is going to be a Schedule C. This is going to be the form that's used to report profit or loss from businesses. Okay. So this is the form that's going to be used for self-employed individuals. The next thing is going to be a Schedule E. This is for supplemental income such as rentals, royalties, things of that nature. So let me ask y'all, so far over everything I done discussed, do anybody have any questions about any of these forms that I've mentioned so far? Just like understanding what they are or whatnot. All right. All right, look like we good to go. So we're gonna keep rolling. All right. So let's understand some income and deduction jargons, right? So AGI is the adjusted gross income. Okay, that's all AGI mean. Adjusted gross income. EIC is the abbreviation for earned income credit. Okay, screenshot this part, guys. Make sure y'all got it. CTC is the abbreviation for child tax credit. All right. They got one that's not on here. I'm gonna say it. So make sure y'all kind of like if y'all got a pencil or something, a little notepad or something, text it to yourself. I'm gonna say it and I'm gonna give y'all enough time to do so. So ACTC is also known as the additional child tax credit. ACTC. All right. All right. LLC is also known as no, we're not talking about your business. No, we talk about taxes. So LLC is going to be the lifetime learning credit. Okay, guys. PTC, you guys probably won't see that very often. It's also known as the premium tax credit. IRA is also, I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with the IRA and what it is. It's a individual retirement account. Okay. HSA, which is something that we tend to use with senior citizens and people who have jobs with like 401ks and stuff like that. A HSA is a health savings account. So they've been at their job about 30, 40 years. It's a chance that they might have a health savings account. All right. Um, a QBI is a qualified business income deduction. Okay. So guys, make sure y'all screenshot that part. Do y'all have any questions for me in regards to the abbreviations and what they mean? So everybody got it, right? So if I say we talking about a CTC, y'all know that's child tax credit, right? That's gonna be one of the most familiar ones you guys are gonna see. When we talk about EIC, that's earned income credit, right? That's something that's gonna be very common. AGI, something that's gonna be very common. Um, HOH, I mean, it's not really an abbrev. They don't really use it as an abbreviation a lot, but I'm pretty sure that you guys know what that means. But if you don't know what it means, HOH is just short for head of household. All right. So that's literally all that is. I'm gonna go ahead and continue, guys. So next is gonna be TP. It's not really used very often. TP is going to be referred to as taxpayer, right? Um, like I said, HOH, head of household. MFJ is going to be married filing joint. MFS is going to be married filing separately. A dependent is going to be a person who qualifies for the support claim. Okay, guys, that's very important that you notate that. A lot of people think dependents are only limited to children. No, if somebody is, they can be 22 years old. If they disabled and they living with you, and you taking care of them, they still can qualify for a dependent. All right. We'll get into the specifics of some of that stuff a little later, but I definitely wanted to make sure that you guys know that the title dependent is not just limited to children. Okay. Do y'all have any questions about any of that right there? All right, hold on. Let me see. I think we got one question. Okay, so let me go ahead, ask your question. Let's go.
I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so if you file a disabled person as one of your dependents, and they get can they still file their own taxes as well? Like, can they be on your taxes and then
So
they,
in certain circumstances they can, okay? Say for instance, if you have a child, right? And let's just say this child age is maybe 18 years old, right? And they're a college student, right? But however, they're married. So they might still file married filing joint or married filing separate with their spouse, but they'll also have to mark because it's a part in the software where you can mark that this person can be claimed as a dependent on another return. Um, so again, that's something that's going to be situational. It's not very common that that happens. I'll be honest with you guys. You guys likely won't see it. That's like one of the unicorns of the industry. But does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Okay, I answered your question.
Yes, you did.
All
Thank
right,
you.
all right. That's a bit, no problem. All right, so we're gonna continue rolling. Extension, right? An extension is 6 month filing extension and it's usually done on form 4868. So if somebody owed in taxes, they need to file an extension. They'll complete form 4868, or you would complete form 4868 form. Refund offset. That's when a refund is taken for debts. Them debts can be child support, court fines, student loans, a levy, right? A lien, a government related lawsuit, unemployment, literally anything that's reported to the IRS that's owed can result in a refund being offset. Okay, so offset is just saying, hey, you owe some money to, some type of it's some type of government entity hold involved with the money that's coming to you. So they're gonna take whatever it is that you owe. In some cases, I've seen them take a whole tax return. In other cases, they'll take a portion of the return. It just depends on how much is owed, guys. So I always tell anybody, like just being this a woman dominated industry. I'm gonna say with the fellow tax preparers say that the women usually say if it's a man you want to call, if you got a male client you want to call and make sure they don't owe child support. Um Sad but true. But I always say with anybody, you want to make sure that, just making sure that you dot all your T's and cross all your I's because you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you file their return, right? And you're charging them preparation fees and they owe. And now the amount that they owe is greater than the refund that they're getting. So you won't receive a tax preparation fee because the IRS took it, right? So that's just like a little rule of thumb. Guys, we'll provide you guys phone numbers and stuff like that to be able to call the offset line. That phone call usually don't take no more than 5 minutes. Honestly, they're pretty quick about getting into accounts and verifying whether people owe or not. But I will say this too, it depends on the type of the time of day, right? Uh Hold on, guys, give me just a moment. And if you guys missed anything on this meeting, don't worry about it. This meeting is recorded, so you guys will be able to go back and look over some of the stuff that probably was discussed prior to you entering the room. All right. So next it's gonna be a P10. What is a P10? Everybody probably like, yeah, y'all been telling me to get a P10. I don't even know what that is. Well, a P10 is your prepared tax identification number. What a P10 is, it's the direct link for you to a tax return. It's like your fingerprint, right? So anytime a tax return is completed by a tax professional, a paid tax professional, so anybody that's preparing returns for profit or for pay is required to have a PTIN number, okay? So that PTIN number identify you as the person who worked the return and transmitted it to the IRS. So if there's any problems with that return or if they have any additional questions that they might want to ask in regards to you actually preparing the return for your client, the IRS will contact possibly you or even the client. But that's why it's very important that you don't share your P10 with anybody. Don't allow nobody to file returns on your P10 or anything like that. You want to kind of protect it as much as you can, because that's almost like your social security number of the tax industry, because essentially that's what it is, right? So make sure you're doing your due diligence and protecting your P10 number because guys, again, that's the number that link you to whatever return is filed under your name, right, with the IRS. Next thing is going to be EFIN. That's the electronic filing identification number. That's something that any tax company you work for, that's are you guys able to hear me? Okay, I see. Yeah, okay, bet. So that's any company you guys are working for, any tax company, period, that are electronically filing returns, that's a number that they're required to have. An ERO is just the electronic return originator. A bank product is what's used for us to be able to receive our money, right? So when we process a return, by the clients not paying us up front, how do we get paid? We get paid out of their tax return. Our bank product ensures that. So when we complete the return, we submit it to the bank product. The bank product sends it directly to the IRS, attaching, our bank product information like our bank product account number, our bank product routing number, right? And that's how the IRS is able to identify that return. So when the IRS release the funds to that return, it goes directly to our bank product first. And it sounds like a lot, guys, but this situation happens like within the same day. Like this is not like any other direct deposit I've ever seen. So the IRS sends it to them directly, right? And in that same instance, they already know how much is supposed to be coming out. So they take out whatever's supposed to be coming out, right? And for instance, to where the maybe they owed or offset, then they'll take out what they can, right? And if that means, hey, we take out whatever we have and the client has nothing left, at that point, then it's kind of like offset. But in most cases, they'll just take out our preparation fees and send the money to the client in the same motion. So there's no days delay or anything like that when our bank product receives the funds. Okay. At that point, then they'll send it to payroll and we start processing payroll for you guys. And usually when the money comes, it's usually done on the following week. I like to say the following week because IRS usually drop on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So the problem with that is if payroll hits on a weekend, then no banks are really open for me to process your payroll. So I tend to just do everything that dropped on that Wednesday and that Saturday, it'll be on the following week's payroll. So that way there's no misconfusion or any type of delays and everything is overstood. All right, so next is going to be due diligence. Like I said, Tuesday's class was dedicated to due diligence. Oh no, Thursday's class, my apologies. Thursday's class was dedicated to due diligence. And it is an IRS requirement for verifying eligibility for credits, deductions, and anything else that's related to the tax return. All right. What is it to amend? To amend the tax return is to fix or change a file return, and that's going to be done, excuse me, guys. That's going to be done on Form 1040X. Okay, it's not hard. When you get into the software, it's literally one click of a button, and it'll take you to an amended tax return. And when you do an amendment, you just put everything that was on the original return, and then you change it. You change what needs to be changed on there. All right. What is a reject code? A reject code is an IRS code explaining why the e-file was rejected. So when we process a return, it's called e-filing, right? When we send that return to the IRS, they'll scan it briefly. They checking date of birth, social security numbers, whether or not a return has already been filed for this person. If the dependents information match up, right? If the return requires any additional forms, right? If the return requires any additional steps in general. It's a real brief screening that they do, and they usually have an answer for you within 10 to 15 minutes. So that answer is either going to be accepted or rejected. Okay. Like the only time it'll say transmitted is when it's still in sending process to the IRS. Other than that, they're going to base their decision. It's going to be yes or no, accepted or rejected. If it's rejected, they'll tell you exactly why. They'll give you a code and it's going to have literally verbatim rejected because dependent social security number ending in, and they'll have the last four of the social and tell you, hey, this dependent was previously filed on the return. If that's the case, or if the date of birth don't match the IRS records, it'll say literally that. It'll say date of birth doesn't match the IRS records. So I mean, that's something that's pretty simple, guys. If you ever run into a reject code, we do not play with rejections. There's money sitting on the floor. That's like you walking out of the store and $200 fall out your pocket. You gonna leave it there and say, "Oh, I'm gonna get it in a second. Let me pump my gas first." You're not gonna do that. You're gonna stop and pick up your money, right? So that's the same way we treat reject codes. Because anytime we have a rejection code, that means your money is in limbo. We have to protect our bag. Get back to it, fix the reject code, Make sure you've done everything properly on your end and there's no additional steps to be made. And if need be, reach out to your client and inquire about any additional documentation or anything that it may be saying that they need. All right. So let me ask you guys, do y'all know, I know I just went over a little lot, but the main things you guys need to know is about the reject codes, more importantly. And I went over the bank products so y'all understand how the process goes for you guys to get paid. Um, do you guys have any questions about any of that? It's all right. Drop something in the chat and say, yeah, you got a question. I can answer it real quick and we can keep the ball rolling. All right, y'all screenshot this page. Screenshot this page. Make sure you got it in your screenshots, got it in your notes. We're gonna try to send it out to you guys also. Make sure y'all have it as well. But that way you familiar with the tax terms now, right? It's like finding out what 6-7 mean. All right. So guys, give me just a second. I'm gonna actually pivot real quick. I'm gonna stop screen sharing real quick. And I'm actually gonna go ahead and get to the next segment of training. All right. So real quick, I want to explain to you guys what tax forms are, right? Because it's important that you not only know the terminology, but that you know what forms are what and how they will be used, right? So let's talk about the tax forms, all right? So the first form, we already know the 1040, that's a standard form used by most taxpayers to report their annual income, claim deductions and credits, and to calculate their tax liability. To the right, you see an example of you're gonna see an example of everything that I'm mentioning as we go. I encourage you guys to take screenshots because I'll be honest with you, it's almost impossible to write as fast as I'm talking, right? So I strongly urge you guys to yeah, take screenshots of this. All right. So this is the longest and most detailed of the 1040 forms. You know why? Because it includes every form attached to the tax return. The 1040 is literally forms A to Z. It's the entire tax return. All right. All right. Next is going to be the form 1040X. And it's used to amend a previously filed tax return. So taxpayers can use this form to correct errors or make changes to their original return, such as reporting additional income or claiming additional deductions or credits. So guys, this is what a 1040X looks like. I mean, it's pretty much the same form. It's just literally made for you to make updates and changes. All right. Next, Form W-2. Everybody should know what a W-2 look like. We didn't all had one of these before, right? So a W-2 is the wage and tax statements that we talked about. This is used for employees to report wages, tips, and other compensations to employees, as well as the taxes withheld from their pay. All right. And we're gonna talk about the Form W-4. Screenshot, guys. I know I'm probably moving a little quick. Let me know if I'm going entirely too fast. Say, Kane, you going way too fast. You're going way too fast, Kane. Yes, Denise, you can rewatch this class. This Zoom is recorded for that specific reason. I encourage everybody to go in and on your spare time because here it is, guys. We less than 45 days from tax season. You want to be sharp. You want to show up with confidence. You want to show up, more than anything, equipped, right? So proper preparation prevents poor performance. You take that additional time and study is going to show when you're entering into the season. And being honest and fully transparent, guys, this is our tax season right now. How you preparing right now today is going to determine the type of season that you have. So with that being said, I always encourage you guys to go back and watch these Zooms. Go back and watch as many of them as you can. You instead of watching whatever you watch on TV, literally have a marathon of watching Zooms. You probably get tired of Kane's voice, but I guarantee you the money that it's going to make you is going to be well worth it. You're going to be like, hey, his words are made of gold at this point, right? All right, but let's go ahead. So that's the form W-4 is going to be for employees withholding allowance certificate, right? It's going to be used by employers to indicate the tax withholding for their employees, right? And this is going to be based off of the preference that their employees have. Okay. All right. Next is going to be a W-2G. This is the form used to report gambling winnings. All right. This is going to be used to report it to the recipient and to the IRS. So all them people that be going to the casino and they think they don't have to report that, you have to report that. They give you a form W-2G. If you haven't got your W-2G, you need to reach out to the gambling establishment where you run the money at and get your W-2G. This works, especially it works really well for you. Got to think, you might have a client, right? They might have 2 3 dependents, but they didn't have a job, but they went to the casinos at some point in the year and maybe they won $10,000, maybe they won $15,000. At that point they can file a W-2G and qualify for some type of credit, right? So those are the type of things that you want to think about, and then you want to talk to them and ask the probing questions as to, okay, so how are you taking care of your kids? In our intake forms, we ask probing questions, about all forms of income, but you definitely want to double down on those type of instances and ask additional questions. All right. All right. So form 2441. This is used for claiming the child independent care expenses. All right. This is a credit that's claimed on their federal income tax return, and in most states, they let you report the expenses incurred for the care of a qualifying individual while you or your spouse work, if filing jointly or are looking for work. Okay. The expense must be for the care of a child under the age of 13, a spouse or a dependent who is physically or mentally incapable of self-care and who has lived with you for more than half the year. It's very important, guys. It's very important. Because you might have somebody and the IRS might be saying that they owe, but here it is. They had daycare expenses that they paid out of pocket. All right. You can take this form, scroll up so y'all can see what the form number is. Again, you can look up form 2441 in the software. You type in 2441, it's gonna pull it up, right? And you can add those daycare expenses and it'll lower their tax bill, right? It'll lower how much they actually owe the IRS, right? And also outside of that, guys, this is another thing. It don't have to be just for a specific daycare. If they saying their cousin Jenny watch their kids, hey, we need Jenny's phone number, we need Jenny's social security number, and we need Jenny's address and her first and last name. And you can fill out that form 2441 and put Jenny on there, right? And lower what? How much the client owe. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, guys. When I really talk about a Schedule A, um, we won't really talk about a schedule. I'll touch on the Schedule B. So a Schedule B form is used in the United States to report interest and ordinary dividends received during the tax year. Guys, I'll be honest with you. It's not common that you guys are going to see a Schedule B dealing with our target audience. But however, in the case that you do, it is used as an attachment to the form 1040A, okay, or a regular 1040 or 1040 in order, which is also known as a 1040 non-resident, okay. This form requires information about the sources of the interest and dividends. These Schedule Bs, I'll just be honest with you guys, these are more than likely going to be common with high income earners, right? This is not something that somebody who has low to moderate income will have. So that's why I was telling you guys that, it really didn't, it really wasn't a need for me to go over that. But let's talk about what a Schedule A is, because this is going to be somewhat important. So if you guys have high income earners, right? You got somebody, and let's just say they single and they made 75, $80,000. That might not be a lot to you, but depending on what they paid in taxes, the IRS might be looking at it like, okay, yeah, you probably gonna owe, right? With that being said, this is a form that's used to itemize their deductions. What is an itemized deduction, Kane? Talk to us like we can understand. So itemized deduction is expenses that qualify to be deducted from your tax bill, right? So literally, It's medical expenses. So if they have a medical bill and that medical bill, y'all remember the term AGI we use, right? Who remember the term AGI? All right. So the AGI is the what? Adjusted gross income, right? If the family member doesn't have a social security number, if they have an ITIN, that's what you will use. Yes, it does also include lottery tickets. All right. So AGI is the adjusted gross income. All right. So let's talk about it. They can deduct medical expenses up to hold on, my apologies, starting from 7.5% of their total AGI. Meaning if they made $100,000, their medical bills have to be at least 7,500 bucks. All right. They can also claim state and local taxes. This is also known as a SALT deduction. Okay, so if you ever see the term SALT, just the word SALT, when it comes to taxes, that's what they talking about, state and local taxes. All right. They can also claim mortgage interest, right? Charitable contributions. So what's mortgage interest? It's the interest that people pay on their homes, right? Charitable contributions. They made a donation to charity, or their church might be their tithes and offerings. Their church might be a 501(c)(3). At that point, they can issue them a form for how much they paid throughout the year, and they can file that on their taxes. And any other qualifying expenses will be reported on the form Schedule A. Guys, in most cases, just being honest and transparent, dealing with our target audience, you won't have very many people that have to itemize. But if you do get somebody that have to itemize, the itemization is going to be automatically transferred to a form Schedule A. The software is going to do that part for you. You don't have to go look up a Schedule A, right? You will be able to literally choose it when you first go into the software, which we're going to get into more of next week. So yeah, next week we're going to be getting into the software, y'all. So buckle down. All right, so Schedule C, let's talk about it. Y'all already know. This is Schedule C is used to do what? What we talked about earlier with Schedule C. Real quick, it's used to report income and expenses related to a business, right? This is going to be mainly for your LLCs, your sole proprietorships, your single member LLCs, and things of that nature. This is pretty much how they're going to report how they made their money, how much money they made, how much money they spent in their business to keep the business running and maintained. Do we have any questions about anything I've said over these last couple of slides? I want to give you guys an opportunity to be able to ask additional questions if you need to. I know I'm going kind of quick. I just want to make sure everybody's grasping what I'm saying. All right. So the next form we're going to talk about is going to be a form called 1098T. The reason why I'm going over these forms, guys, is because these going to be the most important forms. I can tell you about all these Schedule Fs and all this other stuff, and 9 times out of 10, you probably won't even see it this year. I'm gonna just be transparent. I'd rather teach you guys the information that I know for a fact you will need. And if you guys need the additional support, well, maybe you have a unicorn that does come. I have no problem giving you that additional training to show you those things. But by us being this close to the tax season, I want to make sure that you guys are well rounded with the fundamentals, because this is fundamental stuff. Them Schedule Fs and stuff like that, that's more so advanced. That's like second year, knowledge and stuff like that. And there's no problem with you guys spending your downtime studying that stuff, and scheduling a one-on-one if you need additional help with those things. But more than anything, I want to make sure that your core is intact, right? That you have a solid foundation, and that more than anything, you're confident in your in the knowledge of general tax preparation, because that's what's going to be important. These things like this, a form 1098T, you're going to likely see that. This is very common form. So a form 1098T is going to be a tax form used by eligible educational institutions to report information about their students. All right. Both the students and the IRS will receive this form. This form helps students who are enrolled in eligible education institutions determine if they qualify for educational related tax credits, such as the American Opportunity Credit or the Lifetime Learning Credit. It's pretty much a form that any college student will normally get from their school. This is a form that they can claim for the first 4 years of college. After that, they cannot claim the American Opportunity Credit. Okay, they can still use the form and receive the lifetime learning credit, but the American Opportunity Credit is actually what's called a refundable credit, which means it can give them some money back. Okay, a refundable credit gives them money back. Non-refundable credits, it can lower their bill if they owe the IRS, but it don't give them no money back. So long story short, what this form will do, it help people get money back. All right. If they owe the IRS, it'll lower how much they owe. But in most instances, this is going to be a form that's used for all college students if they paid any type of tuition for school. And if they don't have this form, if they have tuition receipts and other receipts related to educational expenses, and it's within their first 4 year college, they can still claim the American Opportunity Credit and a lifetime learning credit. Any questions about that? Any questions about that? I want to make sure that it's making sense. Cause I know that might be a little in depth, but I don't want to make. I'm trying not to go too deep for y'all, but I'm trying to break it down real quick and real simple so y'all can just kind of like get it real quick. Y'all got any questions about that? Nobody had questions? All right, bet. We're gonna keep rolling. So next is gonna be a 1095 form. This form is going to be used to report information about individuals who had minimal essential health coverage during the year. These form types, there are three different types of 1095 forms. It's going to be a 1095A, a 1095B, and a 1095C. Now, I'll be honest and transparent with you. More than likely, the most common one you're going to see is going to be this one right here, that 1095A. Okay? This is going to be used to report medical coverage from different entities. Most of the time, Obamacare, marketplace healthcare insurance, okay? That's going to be your 1095A. So y'all remember them rejections that we talked about? This is the most common rejection. You can have everything right on the return. If a client is supposed to have a 1095A attached to that return, or the IRS believes that that client is supposed to have that attached to their return based off of what they received from the medical place, that insurance company is going to reject the return. And now at that point, you need to go through and contact your client. Hey, do you have a 1095A? And when you contact your client, more than likely they know exactly what you're talking about, right? And if they don't, Obamacare, marketplace health insurance, right? That's what you're gonna say. And if they say, yeah, I had it, but I didn't know I was supposed to file it. Okay, can you send it over to me? And you will use a secure method, whichever your mentor is deemed is valid. But you'll use a secure method to get that form from them and actually add that on to the return. You're going to return. It's very easy because it was rejected already. It'll have a button for you to click. You just click on that button. Literally, it'll say 1095A, and you'll input the information from the form. Okay. But let's just say they say, oh, I don't know, I don't have the form. Well, hey, here's the number to marketplace coverage. Again, all you guys are gonna have the numbers. Y'all don't have to stress about, oh, where I'm gonna find these numbers. Do I gotta Google them? Do I gotta? No, you don't have to do that. We're gonna give you a sheet that's gonna have all numbers associated with the IRS, where you're gonna be able to call at any time, right? If you need anything, or if you need to provide your clients with the number to be able to call for any reason, right? So you're gonna provide that number, and you're gonna tell them, hey, I need you to call him and tell him you're getting your taxes prepared, and your tax preparer need the numbers from line. Well, guys, you can write this down if you want to, but this is gonna be a little quick tip, and it's gonna save you some time in the future. All right. When the client calls Marketplace Health Insurance, you want them to say, hey, filing my taxes. My tax preparer asked me about a 1095A. I need the numbers from line 33A, 33B, and 33C. They gonna give them numbers. They not gonna have to do no additional talking. That phone call literally takes about 5 minutes out of your client's time. That's one of the quickest and easiest, most like smoothest phone calls that's related to a tax return that you can possibly even make. I'll be honest with you guys. So it's not something to stress about or get caught up on. It's almost like calling in late for work. Hey, I'm a little late. I got caught by a red light. I'm on my way. Well, I wouldn't say it like that because you might get fired. I'm just playing. But yes, so that's what a 1095A is going to do, and that's what it's going to be used for. All right. Form 1098. This is regular 1098. All right, we got a different kind of 1098s. We got a 1098T. Like I told y'all, a lot of these forms, the letters behind them tell you exactly what they're for. All right. So a 1098T is going to be for tuition. Now this regular 1098 is going to be for what? Mortgage interest. All right. So anybody that has a house that's paying mortgage, right? If the mortgage interest is $600 or more, they're going to get a 1098. Okay. And there are limitations to that 1098. But based off of them having $600 or more in interest paid on a home, more than likely they'll receive this form. They receive this form, they submit it in their tax documents. When you input this form into the software, it'll tell you if the home qualifies or not. Simple, guys. The software do most of the thinking for you. This industry is a lot of data entry and being able to remember stuff, retaining information. You gotta be able to recall stuff from training that the next tax preparer might not remember. They're not gonna remember the lifetime learning credit because they're gonna look at it like, oh dang, they got a school form, but they've been in school 5 years, so I ain't even gotta put that on there. When in fact, if you put it on there, the lifetime learning credit is not refundable, but it can reduce how much they owe, right? But it's stuff like that that separates a tax preparer from a tax professional. All right. Next, guys, we're gonna talk about a 1099 INT. Like I said, these 1099s, the last three letters, gonna tell you exactly what it's for. And if you don't know what a form is for, you can always look right here at the top. It's gonna tell you the form number. It's gonna have the three letters or whatever it is, one letter, whatever it is, and then it's gonna tell you exactly what that letter means, exactly what those letters mean. Okay. This is an interest form. So anytime you don't know what form it is, don't get your anxiety high and get nervous like you don't know. It's okay. It's a learning experience, right? That's what this is about, learning. So 1099 INT, interest income, okay? This is going to be used to report interest income received during the tax year, and it is going to be typically used and issued by banks and other financial institutions to individuals who have earned interest income. Guys, this is not something that's going to be very common unless you got a client that's maybe they've had 20, 30, 40, $50,000 just sitting in an account throughout the year and they've earned a significant amount of interest. All right. Then the bank will make sure that they issue them this 1099 INT. But it's not very, very common. It's a moderate form that you will likely see, guys. So make sure you screenshot that. Do y'all have any questions about anything I've said over these last couple of slides? And you don't actually have to have the form. You can just input the numbers that the customers tell you after they call a marketplace phone number. Yes. Yes. So you definitely can do it that way. But I always tell you guys a part of due diligence is making sure that you do maintain your records. So when processing a return, you can have them call and get those numbers for you, but you also want to make sure that you follow up with that client and get a copy of that form because they'll mail it out to them again. So you definitely want to make sure that you're following up with that client to get a copy of that form just to make sure you're properly maintaining your records. All right. So next we're going to talk about a 1099-G. This is not a form that you're going to see very often, but this is a form that was very, very common in the years 2024 and 2023. Well, I'll say 2023 and 2022 for certain. This is a form that's going to be used to report certain government payments that individuals have received, such as unemployment compensation, state and local income tax refunds, and other government payments. All right. 1099-G stands for gov. Okay. Government form. It's a 1099 government form. So if they're an independent contractor with the government, 9 times out of 10, they probably gonna have a 1099-G. That makes sense, right? All right. Screenshot this. It's not very common that you will see this form, like I said, but you do have people that might be filing for the year 2021, the pandemic years and stuff like that, and they might actually have a 1099-G. So, guys, this for you guys to know what kind of form it is and what it's used for. All right. Next is going to be 1099 NEC. We already talked about this. This form is for what? Report non-employee compensation. This was introduced by the IRS for the tax year 2020, guys. This form replaced the 1099 MISC. So they went away with the MISC in year 2019, and they introduced this form in year 2020. And this is going to be more common for your Uber Eats drivers, your Favor drivers, your DoorDash drivers, anybody that's not an employee of that company that's receiving compensation. They're going to receive a 1099 NEC. All right. Any questions about that? All right. Bet. All right, guys, we almost done here. So, like I said, this is going to be 1099 miscellaneous form. It's going to be used to report miscellaneous income received by individuals who are not employees. And this is going to include rents, royalties, and other income. All right, guys. So that's exactly what it sounds like. But again, this form has not really been used since the year 2019. They went away with this one. But again, it's important that you know this because you do have people that file prior year tax returns. All right, and if you do see it, it's not very likely that you will see it. It's not really being used as often as it was, or as often as any of the other forms are used. 1099 DIV form. You guys are probably not going to see this, but if you have anybody that's dealing with dividends and distributions, they'll receive this. This is going to be based off the investments that they made during the tax year. All right, so if they doing any type of stock brokering and stuff like that, 9 times out of 10, they'll probably have one of these. All right, guys. But that's not a form that you guys will commonly see. You can screenshot it for your records, but again, this is not something that's very, very common. Next is going to be a 1099K form. Again, this is not something that's very common. This is something else that's going to be associated with more middle to high income earners. All right. This is going to be used to report income received from a payment card transactions, like credit card. Oh, my apologies. Credit cards, debit cards, and sales. All right. So for instance, if they own a business and they taking Square, the little Square thing you swipe the card on, yep, they taking that, they'll receive a 1099K. If they got a POS system, they'll receive a 1099K. So this is like more so dealing with like merchants, right? This is gonna be from a payment card, processor. That's where they'll receive a 1099K from. All right. So let me ask you guys, do you guys have any questions about anything I discussed on this call tonight? Nope. No questions? Hold on. Let me see something. See something real quick. Y'all are able to come off of mute now. So did y'all enjoy the beginning? This class was actually recorded, so the recording will be provided to your mentor. They'll be able to actually provide you the recording to this class, and you'll be able to go back and revise and rewatch, slow it down. Zoom got all kind of buttons. You can play it at the fast speed or the slowest speed. Guys, my goal, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let y'all get off of here. Um, number one thing, because I know y'all gonna be quick to get up out of here. If you have not completed your compliance, please do so, guys. I cannot stress the importance and the urgency of it. Y'all want y'all marketing materials, right? Y'all want y'all flyers. Y'all need y'all flyers. Like, we have to give y'all flyers. We cannot do that if you haven't completed the compliance. Please complete the compliance, because guys, we are already in the tax season. People are choosing their tax preparers right now today. Get on social media. You have to get on social media and start posting. If you need tax tips, let us know. You need tax knowledge, let us know. Take the things that you're learning from these classes. Y'all just screenshotted what every form was, right? Y'all just screenshotted the verbiage, put it in your chat GPT. If you was in class Saturday, I told you how to structure your chat GPT to be able to talk to people, right? When you make these posts, you don't want to sound like the IRS. You want to talk to them like yourself. You want to make sure you sound informative. But guys, please, guys, Get y'all compliance done. And if you got it done, you need to be reaching out to your mentor like yesterday so y'all can get y'all flyers. Cause y'all need to be posting y'all flyers like right now with y'all waiting list, letting people know you're doing taxes. If you got if you already in compliance, you should already be done your reintroduction. You should be reintroducing yourself twice. Every 2 weeks, right? Things like this. Following the posting schedule, sending 20 friend requests every morning you wake up to grow your social media platform. Guys, I'm trying to help y'all. I'm telling y'all, the opportunity here is so, man, it's so beneficial. It's so lucrative. And the thing is, I can tell it to you all I want to, right? But it's way easier for somebody to believe something once they see it than for them to believe it when you're telling it to them. So when I'm talking to you guys, it's like, y'all hear what I'm saying, right? But it's like y'all gonna wait till the first drop. Well, you got to think about it. Single people without dependents get paid first, but they still have to have a pack that have to lift. So when people with the dependents start getting paid, like you damn near in the middle of the season. So you done set out and not gave it your all for the first month. And now everybody else was still doing clients. And then now you like, damn, I'm gonna have to go harder next year. No, go hard right now. Go hard right now. Let's get with your mentor. Push your mentor. Challenge your mentor to give you everything that you need. Challenge your mentor to make sure that you set up. Challenge your mentor to give you additional one-on-ones. Lean on your mentor. That's what they're here for. All right. But let's get in compliance. Let's get y'all marketing materials. Let's get y'all out there because y'all didn't start this journey for nothing. And y'all ain't on these Zoom calls for this hour and this hour and a half to waste y'all time. Y'all are here for a reason. So let's show up as the best version of ourselves and let's show up as the winners that we already are, right? So with that being said, all the Zoom recordings or all the Zooms are recorded. If you need any Zoom recordings, whether you in round, because you guys are in round 1, right? So I have Zoom recordings for marketing trainings and stuff like that from prior weeks. What I'll do for you guys is I'll make sure that your mentor has access to those prior marketing calls, right? Every Saturday we have marketing training. Everybody should be on marketing training because that's one of the most important trainings, period, right now. If you don't know how to market, if you was there last week, I gave you strips on how to talk to people, from inboxing them on social media to reintroducing yourself to your friends and family to contacting everybody in your phone. I'm giving you ways to where, think about it, guys. If you get 5 clients and you only make $200 a return, that's $1,000. It's not many jobs that you can go to and make the income that easy, guys. But y'all have to get serious. And right now, this is a sense of urgency. And that's why I'm telling it to y'all like this because, hey, if you don't have your marketing materials right now, if you haven't completed compliance, you're a month behind. You're a month behind. You done already got into the season. We done already started training a little late. Okay, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Right now, you got to go in beast mode. You got to go in overdrive. Christmas is coming up. Each company, I know everybody's doing like feed the homeless drives, toy drives. If you part of Splendid, I got a photo shoot for y'all Saturday on the the 29th. That's fully paid for. All you got to do is show up. Y'all, it's here. We giving y'all everything y'all need. We giving y'all the posting schedule, the materials to post. You getting everything, but we cannot do the work for y'all. So get in touch with your mentor. Ask them what do they need from you. Ask them what can you do better, right? And go out and execute. It's easy to say you want it. Everybody's saying they want it. Everybody's saying they want it. What are you going to do that make you different, that make you look like you deserve it? You got to put forth that work. You got to put forth that work. Don't let nobody outwork you. It's a crackhead somewhere on every corner in every ghetto. Every day they wake up, their number one goal is to get high. And they gonna do whatever the hell they gotta do to get high at the end of the day. I gotta talk to y'all like for real. Y'all know crackheads. Y'all done seen crackheads. They gonna do whatever they gotta do to get high, right? So at the end of the day, that crackhead only chasing a high. You chasing a better life for you and your family. You know what I'm saying? You trying to put yourself in a different financial bracket. You can't let a crackhead out hustle you. This personal. This like everybody talk about, oh, this is my year, this is my year. Make this your year right now. What you doing right now today, what you wake up and decide to do tomorrow, all of that is shaping your year. Because think about it like this. We give you guys the seeds. We give you guys the water. I'm giving y'all the fertilizer, right? I'm telling y'all, hey, plant y'all seeds right here at this time. That's what the market, that's what them Saturday calls are. It tells you when to do something, and it tells you how to do it, and it tells you when to do it, and it tells you where to do it. Like I literally give you the full thing. So it's literally no questions. So now you got your seed planted. I done gave you the water for your seed. You just gotta keep going back and watering it now. And guess what? When February come, you ain't gonna be saying, Kane, can you help me? You gonna be saying, hey Kane, what you want from the store? You gonna be calling me, asking me what I want. Everything, everything. That's all I want. I just want y'all to win, man. Thank y'all. I'm Kane. I love y'all. I hope that y'all enjoyed this training. Thank y'all for showing up for yourselves. Thank y'all for being dedicated. And always, if you need anything, you can always inbox me, message me, reach out to your mentor. If there's any additional materials you guys might feel like y'all can benefit from, let your mentor know. They damn good about challenging me to give them even more. So let them know they get with me, and I'm gonna make sure you got it. I don't want no excuses. If anybody don't succeed, that's a part of what we're building here. I want you to know that it's going to be on you. It's not going to be because we didn't give you what you needed. It's not going to be because you didn't have the proper guidance or the proper structure. It's going to be because you didn't go out and execute. With that being said, y'all have a great night. Love.